president and opposition protesters outside the presidential palace in Cairo. Aljazeera's Rabia Rege joins us now live from there. Rabia, the Vice President has been speaking within the last couple of hours, and he offered a glimmer of hope for an end to this standoff, this crisis. We'll talk more about what he had to say in just a moment. First, bring us up to speed with the situation there now, where Morsi supporters are reported to have ousted opposition protesters.
Very ugly scenes outside the presidential palace, Adrian. In the past couple of hours, or earlier in the day rather, the Muslim Brotherhood responded by issuing a strong-worded statements criticizing the opposition for the rallies outside the presidential palace yesterday, claiming that this way the opposition is trying to tear down their version of legitimacy and law and order in the country. As a result, it's called on its followers to mobilize and take to the streets outside the palace. The inevitable confrontation happened. The pro-Morsi supporters attacked the sit-in outside the palace, tore down the opposition tents, and essentially driven off the opposition outside the palace. In the past hour, the president managed to get out of the palace where he works. It's his office, not where he lives, surrounded by his supporters who chanted supporting him.
Let's talk about the political ramifications of all of this then, as the Vice President says that a breakthrough on the country's constitutional crisis is imminent.
Well, that is really his definition. He described it as some sort of a political way out, although ask anyone who watched that hour-and-a-half press conference, and you're likely to find that almost everyone you're asked is utterly confused by what exactly the Vice President had to offer. He started by talking about some sort of an initiative, a political initiative, to call the opposition for a dialogue, some sort of a deal or a bargain to allow the referendum to take place as scheduled, but then take in the opposition concerns about the constitution and work on amending it. But then he backtracked halfway through the press conference, saying it wasn't an initiative, it was a personal idea that he's floating. So a lot of political confusion, not just outside the presidential palace and the ugly scenes we've seen outside the palace, but inside the palace itself. Questions about the vision the president has for this country, questions about the leadership of the Muslim Brotherhood, and why would you be inside the palace and want to be outside it and drive out the opposition as well?
Just before we leave you, Rabia, we're looking at pictures now of the scene outside the presidential palace. Ambulances there. Yesterday, tear gas was used against opposition protesters there. I take it in the way that this violent storming by Morsi supporters happened earlier to oust those protesters, that there may have been injuries.
We don't know yet the final tally of the injuries from today's developments. What we do know is that definitely those tents were torn down. We've seen reports from the opposition saying that there have been injuries, that they were beaten up, but final official numbers, I can't really update you with those just yet, Adrian.
Rabia, we'll continue to keep abreast of the situation there in Cairo. We may well be back with you if there are more developments to report. For the moment, many thanks. Rabia Rege reporting live there from Cairo.